So welcome to the Billionaires Club meetup group. Let's just take a minute to kind of let go of the rest of the day. Just breathe it out, your fingers, your toes, out into the ground, just let it go away. All that negative energy gone. Shift into the present moment, kind of feel the powerful positive energy here that's in this room. We're going to have a good time today, I can tell already. And then set your intention about what you want to get out of the meeting. Why did you come all this way today in this gorgeous weather just to hang out with us? Set your intention, let it go. Just let it float away and see what happens. So who is new to the Billionaires Club as of today? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Thank you for coming out.
Welcome.
Thank you. Always appreciate new members. And who is new to the law of attraction itself? You've either just heard about it or one. Two. Okay, great. Thank you. The good news is we'll cover what you need to know. And this is an open forum. What makes this group work is that people ask questions and they participate. So if there's something that doesn't make sense, you want clarification, your question will probably be helping a bunch of other people. Because vibrationally speaking, law of attraction has already brought us together here. So we have a lot more in common than just our physical bodies, okay? So we get some really good energy going here when we start conversations and ask questions, and if you've got an answer for somebody else's question, say so.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to tell them about the mic?
Oh, yes, and we're recording this, so what I need is your help. So when you have a question or you just want to comment, I'm going to run to you. That's my exercise for the day. And then you're going to talk into the microphone, but you need it really close, because if you talk like this, you can't hear me. But if you hold it up there, which I know it's uncomfortable, like everybody goes, but it just helps us. And then if anybody wants to listen back on the recording, they can hear all the conversation, because it's always amazing. Every month it's been amazing. So just help me out when I come to you and hold it nice and close.
We'll be posting the recordings on our YouTube channel like we do every month, so you can go there and listen to old recordings if you want, or if you missed something in this meeting, just go and play it back. I think those usually take about a week to get up there. So I'm Kevin Young. I'm a partner with my lovely wife Suzanne in personal success programs. We are a coaching, training, motivation, inspirational speaking company located in Novi. Let's see. Mimi is not here today. Mimi's our third in charge, and she's so busy we don't see her that often anymore.
She attracted so much when she started, co-creating with us. Like, she's so busy we hardly see her anymore.
Yeah. But we love
Which
her
is a
wherever
good thing.
she is.
Yep.
And then our support staff, today I think we only have Susan. We only got Susan
here.
today, yeah. Everybody had something, they were out of town or something was coming up, so we have Susan's holding down the fort. And this is the largest group that we've had probably since last summer. So we had 71 people register.
Yeah, we'll see how many really show up.
Typically we get about 2/3 or so. So still, wonderful group. We're going to have some great energy today. And so then, why are we here? The mission of the Billionaires Club. So we created the Billionaires Club as a place for like-minded souls to gather and share knowledge and experiences about the universal, naturally occurring law of attraction and everything else that goes with that.
And we also created it because we just wanted some friends that were in the law of attraction.
We followed the Abraham Hicks law of attraction material, which has been around more than 30 years. That's where we've learned a lot of the foundational stuff. But the only place we could see other people would be on cruises or workshops that they would do around.
But there's nothing wrong with going on a cruise.
Yeah, there's nothing, and we'll be doing that in another week, so make you guys all jealous. We're going to the Caribbean with the about 800 people.
All Abraham Hicks. Woohoo.
Doing what we're doing in this room, only on steroids. So anyway, our vision here is to build a community of naturally influential, self-empowered, self-responsible leaders to help return our area here, Metro Detroit, back up to the world-class status it had many years ago. That's just it's a vibrational path, and it's an individual path for each one of you. So as you're simply becoming more of who you are, you're opening up to this broader intelligence, you're becoming more of who you are and radiating it out, and you're becoming the influence to the other people around you in your life. So you're natural leaders just by working on yourselves. So good job. Got a room full of leaders here. We only have one rule, and that's really more of a guideline. Just no open solicitation of your business or your interests on the website, or don't come with a handful of flyers and pass them out to everybody. That's all we ask. And it's really more for your benefit than for ours, because Law of Attraction says that the scattershot approach tends to be scarcity-based anyway. And so you don't want to put that energy out, particularly in a group like this. It's better to learn to manage your own vibration and then attract clients. And then they just show up. They'll find you. That being said, please talk to each other. You came all this way. We have open networking after the meeting at 8 o'clock. If somebody lights up for you, and it doesn't matter if they got a nice sweater on or a nice smile or there's something about, go talk to that person, because Law of Attraction is talking to you. That's an impulse saying that's somebody that you want to talk to for who knows why. Doesn't matter, but the universe knows. So just trust that. So talk to each other, do business with each other. We've got a lot of friends here that we do business with, either come to our workshops or we use their businesses and services. These are the people you want to know. A little housekeeping. Please put your cell phones on silent or stun or turn them off or vibrate if you want a little excitement during the meeting.
It depends on what pocket you put it in.
Yeah, we'll know if the big smile comes on. We know what's going on there. And as Suzanne said, we're recording the meeting tonight like we always do, audio only, although Steve's going to be taking a few pictures for us just for the meetup website. If you want to know about the YouTube channel, I usually send out an email about a week afterwards when it's up there, so it'll let you guys know what the link is if you want to play back the recording here. So what are we doing today? We'll start off like we always do with Law of Attraction success stories from you guys and from us. We got a couple we're going to share. The idea is to just share successes as to changing your energy, your focus, your vibration, as we like to say, and then something coming back. It's good to share that because it helps people understand that this stuff works if you work it. It's up to you. We can't prove anything we're going to talk about tonight. Nothing. But you can. In fact, you have to. It's your job to prove it to yourself, if you want to. So we share these.
You know what that is? You're the one thinking your thoughts, and only you are, so you're in control of the energy you're putting out.
Yeah, and we'll get into all of that. We'll talk about Law of Attraction as it fits into our conversations today. So in the days when we started this, and it's going to be 3 years in March that we've been running this group. The group's been around since 2009. We took it over 3 years ago. In the early days, we used to do a whole 15 minutes on the Law of Attraction every single time, and we found we were attracting people who were beyond that. So we don't do that anymore.
They started saying, it's getting a little boring.
So we had to keep up with the audience. But that being said, with new people in the audience, and sometimes Law of Attraction I can explain in 10 seconds. It's like energy attracts like energy. That's it. Bye-bye, have a nice day. Right?
It's not totally it.
Right. But there's more, which is how do we change ourselves to match the vibration we want so that we can attract what we want. So all the work is on the inside, and that's where all the conversation is, because we've got all these beliefs and all this stuff we learned as kids. It puts us in little boxes, which often don't serve us. And that's what causes the lower vibrations, which attracts the things we don't want. And so a lot of conversation around that. So any questions at all, just, raise your hand. Suzanne will bring the mic over, and we'll
help you out.
Yes, we'll be helping people out here. Then we'll get into the main topic, which is managing your energy field, which is I think has been pretty fun today. We've got a couple exercises I think you guys are going to have some fun with. And we're fairly new to the actual physical manipulation of energy, so we're going to be learning from you guys as well. And I know at least a few people in here actually do this either for a living or have the ability to manipulate energy. So if you guys who do want to help out, please share your experiences. Because a Q&A is all the time. This is interactive, participatory, so jump in anytime. We'll wrap up right around 8 o'clock and then open networking, where you can have some cookies and something to drink and hang out if you want for a little bit. And that's it, basically. Any questions as to what we're doing here? You're not here for the Tai Chi class downstairs, right? Okay. Just checking. There's no class downstairs. Yeah. There used to be, actually. Oops, I'm going to turn that off. All right, so let's kick off with some success stories here. Do you want to start with yours? Do you want me to do that?
You can start, and then I'll do mine.
All right. So we each have one. We have lots of little success stories all throughout the day, but sometimes you get something kind of big, and that's what we want to share here. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, we're going on a cruise with the Abraham Hicks Group in March to the Caribbean. She cannot wait for that to get here next week.
Next Thursday, we'll be leaving.
Yeah. And we booked it last July because we try to go on one cruise a year at least with this group because it's phenomenally positive energy. It's like, the ship is floating above the water. There's so much positive energy. And so we were in Alaska last year, and if you book your next cruise while you're still on this cruise, they give you perks, right? So they get that incentive. So we've come to be doing that. We've been on a lot of cruises with them. It's about the only place we go. And so you usually get...
We have a timeshare. We don't even use it. We're just always on these cruises.
Yeah, go to the cruise, yeah. So you get things like free gratuities, which is where you pay for the tips for everybody, or drink packages. That's usually worth a few $100s a piece, which is, hey, it's worth it, $200-$300 each for the next cruise. That's a lot.
I can get a massage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we knew that there was going to be the same thing on this cruise, but what we didn't know was how much. So when we got the final invoice, there was a list of perks I could not believe. Unlimited internet for both of us. That's about $500. $600 of onboard ship credit to spend on anything we want. This is just free on the invoice. Free gratuities, it's about $200. The free beverage package, which was I remember us paying
a few drinks.
Yes, we don't drink a lot, but a nice beer, a glass of wine, it covers all that. We drink a lot of water.
Because you have to pay for that, and you have to pay for the booze. So if you have one beer, it's like $7 or something.
So I got to say, we had almost $2,000 worth of perks when I added it all up.
Woo-hoo.
I mean, all we did was get in the positive vibration and be happy about the cruise and not worry about how it was going to be paid for or anything else, and the resources always flow. This was just an icing on the cake of what's already going to be a great trip.
Yeah. You want to tell about the zip line?
Oh, yeah, and that was another thing. But wait, there's more. So we usually do 1 or 2 excursions. When you're on the cruise line, they land at different places, and you get out and you see the place. And let's see, we're going to do a cave visit. There's this nice underground cave. And then we wanted to do a zip line. Anybody ever done a zip line before? Yeah, isn't that a blast? Right? I did my first one on one of these cruises probably 5 years ago, I think. And I have a fear of heights, or at least I used to. And I practiced my walking meditation right up to that station. But I got on that zip line, I got to tell you, it was like total peace. I was just like floating in the clouds, and it was the most amazing thing. So we decided we were going to do this again, but it was sold out by the time we got there. And the Abraham Hicks groups actually have exclusive groups, so you're going only with Abraham Hicks people. So we were really kind of bummed about that. So I just kind of let it go. I was like, okay, something else will work out. We get there, sometimes people cancel or whatever. But then I had somebody from the cruise line just mention, oh, you know what? If you send an email to this one person, maybe they can do something. So I did, and the guy called me yesterday, right? Or no, the day before, I think, and said, yeah, well, if you really want those, we'll open up 2 more spaces for the zip line. And they did. Took my credit card.
Group, not just
within the Abraham group, yeah. So boom, we got our zip line, and we're going to be flying over the treetops. So that's my story.
Okay, now I'll tell mine. So who's been in this long enough and watched me go through my journey of writing my book? Yay, one person. Well, it's been a long journey. And eventually, of course, I attracted an editor for free, which is, of course, always fun. I coached her. She edited the book. And then we got it up on Kindle in November. And a couple really fun things happened just from Thanksgiving to the end of November. And I'm not into marketing. I very rarely do anything on YouTube, or not YouTube, but my Facebook page. I understand social media is very powerful, but I'm older and I'm not into that. I like to look in somebody's eyes. So anyway, I got some business person trying to help us out said, oh, congratulations on your book. It's made the top 2,500 in your category. And I said, it has? Like, I didn't even know it. And then I found out it was just for November. that's 1 week, So I was really excited. Yay, universe, thank you, because I didn't market it. So time goes by, and then I think, you know what, I don't really want to spend money on marketing and all that stuff. That just doesn't light me up, and I just want it to grow organically. I just want someone to read it, pass it to a friend, read it, that type of thing. So I just totally let go, even though I have many people approach me into how I could spend money and get it marketed. So I had Kevin, my wonderful husband, was on Facebook, so much more than me, thank goodness, because this thing came to his feed. Someone in our Billionaires Club, actually, but she's not ever made it here. She just joined. And she does a radio show in Flint, and she said on the thing on Facebook, help, I have a person I was supposed to interview today on my show, and they can't make it. Does anyone want to fill it in? And the name of her program is called The Awakening, which I love that title. And so Kevin private messaged me, and okay, so I didn't read it because I don't go there very often. And I figure if it's that important, you can come downstairs and tell me. But, hey, I'm learning. So about an hour later, I look on it, and I read it. It's so kind of send it to me. And I go, oh, so I quickly message her, I'd be glad to. She messages me back, oh, sorry, it's already filled. But, hey, I'd like to talk with you. So we set up a phone appointment a few days later on a Thursday. She loved what we did. She had no idea. She had been looking for an expert on law of attraction to be interviewed. She's had all kinds of cool people, psychic mediums and Reiki people and everything, but never had one of those. And she said, would you like to be on my show on Sunday? That was like 3 days away. And I said, yes, I would. So I end up going on the show. We have this interview. It was amazing. She was all into Abraham Hicks, it was just fun. And then she said, and I'm going to put it up on YouTube. She must have, is that her YouTube channel?
It's on YouTube, yeah.
See, this is how much I don't know. And she said, I'll put it up on YouTube in the week after we do it on Sunday. I mean, it was live. We didn't cut it or anything. I mean, it is what it was, and it went pretty good. So she puts it up on Monday. Now, Monday night, someone is sitting in the hospital with nothing to do, waiting for test results from their loved one who was having tests done, and opens up YouTube, and mine pops right up. It was this interview and her name is Katina Love. Don't you like that name? Love. And so she listens to it because she has nothing to do. As she listens to it, she remembers my name, Suzanne Young. She'd met me like 5 years ago. Okay, what are the chances? And I had done my very first speaking engagement at a women's expo in Flint, and she was there. And so the cool part was, as we got, so she was listening to it on Monday night, and she went home on Tuesday. She messaged me. I wasn't quite in the habit of looking at the private messages right away. So finally I looked again, and she said, hey, I really want to talk with you. Are you free? She'd put that on there before. And just as I'm walking to tell Kevin that, look, somebody wants to talk to me, she called. She called me. And this is the most amazing part. And I thank the universe every day because she said, I love what you do, and I see you're doing a book launch, and tell me more about your book. And I'm doing a book launch. I didn't know I was doing a book launch. But, hey, I did a radio interview, so I guess I was launching a book. And she said, we met a long time ago. I'm the publisher of Women to Women Michigan magazine, and I really would like to feature you and have you on the cover. I'd like you to be on the front cover when it comes out on Mother's Day. Could you come in for a photo shoot? I think I can. Oh, what day would that be? And she says, well, yeah, and I really want to do a whole article on it. And then would you be interested? I know I have to pass this with all her editor and everybody else, but would you like to start writing for the magazines? I think so, yeah. And so it just all unfolded it was just so amazing. I have to thank the universe for the patience of just saying, it'll get marketed without me spending money however it works, because I don't like to do that. And I got that gift. I got that gift. Thank you. And then she says, now bring the book with you when we do the photo shoot. And I said, I don't have a printed book yet. It's up on Amazon. And she goes, well, let's just make a fake one. Make it, do the cover like I know what it looks like, paste it on a book and hold it. We can do that. So I just loved how it all unfolded, and now I just know now that however it all unfolds, it's okay to just have faith and just allow and not worry about someone telling you have to do it this way, because what felt right to me was allowing and just letting it flow. So that's my story.
Yeah. That is one of the biggest lessons. That when we've been teaching it we've had this business 9 years, I think. We learned about law of attraction, I think, around 2008, and really started teaching in workshops, just kind of part-time, because I had a computer business, and we let that go about a year and a half ago. And that's really been the biggest message that I've gotten, because I'm very methodical, come from the computer background, scientific engineering, everything's, pre-planned, and you think about goals and all that stuff. None of that matters. If you want a good life, none of that matters. What matters is alignment. And that means being up here, which is where the guidance all comes from. Your vibration is the energy of your thoughts, essentially. It's a simplification, but that's a great way to think about it. So what you're sending out has a certain frequency. Higher frequencies are up here, lower frequencies are down here. What's going out is actually what's being mirrored back. It's just it's a phenomena of nature that says that energies that's vibrating at the same frequency comes together if it's in proximity. That's all it does, is it coalesces, comes together. And since everything's energy, everything is energy. Right? Everything. This is energy. Here, I'm energy. You're energy. Everything is energy. Everything has a vibrational signature to it. Everything is being attracted at some level. Right? The neat thing is that your vibration, because of the thoughts that you're thinking, can be changed. You can change the energy, frequency that you're sending out. And so you can change what you're getting back. All the universe does is it mirrors what you've been sending out. Everything in your life right now, in any moment, is a mirror of what you've been sending out up to that point, or in that moment. So it changes as you change, but it's always a mirroring effect. It's just like when you go up to the bathroom mirror and you look in the mirror, if it smiles, it means you're smiling, right? Right? You'd all agree with that, I hope. No dissenters? Okay. Same with me. If you're frowning, right, the mirror's going to frown. There's never a delay or a separation of those. It's always an exact match. Always, always, always. So you can always know by the stuff that's in your life what you've been sending out. And this is where all the work is. Right? Because we get stuff that shows up and you say, wait a second, that just showed up out of the blue, right? Where did that come? Usually it's a negative thing, right? Oh my God, who is that person? Why they pissed me off? Well, guess what? You had that going inside of you. You just weren't aware of it. And that's the work. So it's paying attention to how we feel in the solar plexus area. This is where we feel emotions, that cluster of nerves behind the stomach, right? It's kind of back here. That cluster of nerves are like brain cells, and they radiate out through the body. Your body's like a big antenna. It's picking up this vibrational signal that you are sending out, so you can feel it. So you know what you're sending out. It's your guidance system. It's your GPS. So that's all that matters, is that you care about how you feel. So start tuning into that more. Care about the feelings more than anything else, and your life will auto self-correct. Everything will just start to line up. Because there's nothing more powerful than the vibration than you're emanating, period. There's no power greater in the universe, any place. Certainly not anybody in your proximity who's more powerful than you are to create the reality you're living. Nobody. Okay? But we get influenced. We were influenced as kids, right? You made mom and dad happy if they told you what to do, right? Or you had to make your teachers happy. There's all those tests, pass and fail, right? If you fail, you're bad. Right? If you pass, you're good. Right? So we get programmed to believe in all this kind of stuff, and none of it matters. None of it matters. All that matters is that you find ways to make yourself happy in the moment. Then you do this for a long enough period of time, and the universe will warp itself around you to match. It's just how it works. It's really very simple in theory, but try doing it, right? When you're around negative people, right? So if you can say, I'm around negative people because I have some of that inside of me right now, that's okay. Then use that as feedback. There's no judgment about who's in your life, what's in your life, unless you judge it. Don't recommend that. There's no judgments. Anywhere in the universe, it's all in the human mind, right? Everything is working out perfectly. Any questions on this? That's a very quick synopsis of law of attraction. Right. All the work is inside, and it's caring about the solar plexus, the gut emotion. That's why you have a gut feel, by the way. Right? It's not your stomach. Right? It's your solar plexus, because it's right there. Right? You get a gut instinct to go do something. You're in a positive state. You want to go do it. Trust that. Because even though it might not be the thing that you want, it's a path towards it. It's a door. The universe sometimes has to open up 10 different doors to get you to where you are because you're way over here. Right? So trust that the next door, if you get that positive impulse, whatever it is, talking to a person, going on the internet, turning on the TV, so whatever the impulse is, trust the impulse. Because if that impulse is coming in your good state of mind, it's going to take you towards something that you want. Because you've already registered what you want with the universe. It's part of living your life. It knows. It's just an energy field around us that we've been feeding with the desires. And law of attraction is working on it. Isn't that cool? If you think about that. All the desires you've been having, you've been sending out. As you are aware of stuff that you don't want, you're creating what you do want. It's just equal and opposite. That's being created simultaneously. It's just a question of what are we focusing on, right? So you sending out the desires, the broader part of you, we call it inner being. It's the energy part of you, the 99% that's not in your body but is with you. The energy field of you picks that up, radiates it out. Law of attraction starts bringing it. Everything you've ever wanted, you've ever desired, has actually been on its way to you. I mean, it's right outside your door. That's the funny thing, right? For most of us, all the money, all the people, the relationship, yes, they're all around you all the time. The universe is constantly trying to deliver them to you. So why don't they get here, right? Because of us, because what we're thinking in this brain, right? The broader brain has already attracted everything, but we have these lower vibrational signals that we're sending out that block it. You just prevent it from getting from the 99th percentile to the 100th percentile to us. So again, it's the same formula. Get back in vibrational alignment up here at the top. Find ways to feel good. Get yourself up in joy and love and freedom and passion and enthusiasm as often as possible. Every time you sleep, all that stuff turns off and you float back up here. So every time you wake up, you got a do-over. Every single day you got a do-over. You can start from the top. So we recommend do the work when you first wake up, do your meditations, do a list of appreciation, positive aspects, do yoga, listen to positive music, inspirational materials, anything that you can do to hold yourself up here. That makes sense? Right. So let's talk about energy. Energy, because it's everywhere and it is everything in different forms, is really hard to define. I can say everything is energy. What the heck does that mean? It would take a very long time to even describe a little bit of how energy manifests in different places. What we're going to talk about today is the energy that's flowing through our bodies, what we call the auric field, and the aura you've heard of. Right? Has anybody actually seen an aura who can pick up light? We got one here. Couple, 2, 3, yeah, okay. Not everybody can see them. Everybody can senses energy in slightly different ways. Some people can visually see energy fields. Some people can feel it within their bodies. Some people can hear the energy signatures, communication. Consciousness comes through energy, so the broader consciousness, which is available for all of us, our own higher self is all energy, and it flows in that same way, comes in through clairvoyance, clairaudience, which is hearing words, clairsentience, which is, I think, feeling it in the body, and claircognizance, which is where you just have a knowing about something. All that consciousness you have available to you at any time. That's all energy-based. Everything flows through energy. So one of the things we're going to talk about two different components of your energy field. First is the aura itself, which is the energy field around your body. And we're going to play a game with yourself to manipulate that energy and see if you can feel it moving in and out. Right? Because again, we can't prove any of this. You have to try it and prove it yourself. See if it works for you. And then the other thing we're going to do is manipulate energy with our hands a little bit. See if you can feel the energy movement. Energy workers and healers do this regularly. Anybody trained in like Reiki or other kind of energy work? 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Excellent.
3 in the room.
Please feel free to jump in anytime if you've got something to say about what I'm talking about here. So it's kind of an esoteric topic, like most everything we talk about in this room, because you can't touch it, you can't measure it, you have to feel it. You have to get into a state where you can feel it, where you can sense it in your body, someplace within you. So again, this is up to you to prove it, for you to test it. But once you do and you start tapping in, there's all these different components. We have law of attraction, and we have our own consciousness, we have thoughts, we have the energy fields. All these pieces are working in harmony to bring us what we want. So we're just kind of like tapping little different parts of the bigger picture and bringing as much into harmony as we can so we get the best experience possible.
One simple way you can actually feel energy, even if you haven't developed the talent that some of you in the room have, and I do this when I'm helping people begin to learn law of attraction, is who here has ever walked into a nursing home? Can you feel the low energy in that? And this is because the people in a nursing home are knowing this is my last place I'm going to be, and they don't have any more desires. They'd love to be back out and home, driving a car and all that, but they've given up on all the joy that they used to have, and so they have this constant energy they're putting out, feeling hopeless, which is at the bottom of the scale, low frequency, and then it's all over the nursing home, and depending on, I mean, that's a lot of momentum, and that's a lot of power. So that's why when you walk in there, you can feel it. It's just heavy. It's slow. And that's the simplest way that I like to help people understand how you can feel the energy. And when you're around people who are all excited, if you're aware, I mean, you can feel, you want to be around people who are smiling and excited and passionate. It feels good to be around them. So if you've experienced that, that's the opposite. That's real high frequency that they're putting out. And when you're, like the mirror effect, if you're brand new, when you look in the mirror, if you're frowning, it's going to frown back. If you're smiling, it'll smile back. When you're smiling, it's high frequency. It feels good. That's all at the top of the scale. When you're frowning, it feels bad. It's low frequency. And you're just going to always attract whatever you're putting out, not only thoughts in that emotional state, but eventually experiences that center around that emotion, because momentum, as it builds up, is powerful, and it finally will turn into experiences in that emotion.
Neat thing is, as you learn to manage your energy field more, you radiate it, right? It's just, when we get, and this is what we call alignment, this is where we're sort of the open channel to that broader consciousness, the broader energy field that's flowing through us. It's not just coming in, it's flowing through us. And we're radiating it out. Law of attraction keeps energy in balance, right? So what goes out comes in, right? So money, relationships, health are all a reflection of how aligned you are, how open your energy valve is. So this is another way of sort of looking at this. So one of the greatest things about learning to manipulate energy, even if it's just conceptual, is that you can heal. You can heal yourself, you can help others to heal. That's what Reiki practitioners do. They set up energy fields that are aligned fields, and if the person who's on the table being worked on is in a receptive state, then they can benefit from that energy. Again, vibrationally, they have to be in the same vibration to pick up. It's just like a radio station. They got to be on the same frequency. So one of the things that we always recommend healers to do, any kind of healer, is to get your patient in a place of positive expectation. Right? Don't tell them all the things that can go wrong. It's one of the biggest gripes I have with the medical system today. They can't give what's called false hope. There's no such thing as false hope. There's only hope. Right? And hope is right about here. That's way the heck better than fear and guilt and powerlessness. Right? And it's, I mean, medical practitioners often don't understand energy the way we're talking about it, so they have to do what the law says. And that's part of the law, says you can't do that. But if you're not within that realm, the best thing you can do is get your patients, your clients up in this area. Talk them up, help them to see how good things are, show them where they are healing, show them how things are working, and bring them up here. And then when you do the energy work that then enhances their field, then their healing can come very quickly. We know a lot of people.
Yeah, so we got a question. Yeah, first one. Or comment.
Sure.
What we're talking about. I'm not a certified healer, but I have intentions on taking classes and that sort of thing. So, but I have a story, a testimony. I was on my way to the movies about a week ago and was getting out the car on a Thursday, and I banged my knee, and it's a knee where I had surgery on a few years ago, and I could hardly walk. I was in so much pain in this knee. And came home from the movies and woke up the next morning. I couldn't stretch the leg out. I was concerned. I was on my way to Japan, so I didn't want to fly. I'm like, did I do something to my surgery knee? Is there a blood clot? So I immediately went into a negative state, and this went on for 2 days with this pain. So finally, I decided to sit down with my knee and have a conversation with my knee.
Good for you.
And in doing that, I recalled, what caused me to have the surgery to begin with. And it was the year before my surgery, I fell and hurt my knee. But I fell when I own my own company, and I was attending to a client, and it was a horrible week. My client was the client from hell this week, and it was the worst week ever, and it was very challenging, and we were doing something new, but it was a successful thing that we were doing. It was something we had not done before, but we were accomplishing something. But everything got thrown out the window. All the great things that were happening for me in this accomplishment were out the window because of how hard it was with the client. And then I fell and hurt my knee. And not only did I fall and hurt my knee, but I fell in front of a lot of people. I got up and went to tell my friends, did you guys just see me fall? And then to make matters worse, I said, I'm going to the car. I'm just humiliated. I went to walk back and I fell again. I had to have surgery on the knee 2 years later, or a year and a half later. So anyway, last week when I was dealing with my knee, I said to my knee, okay, knee, we got to move forward here because, this is, we have stuff to do. So I went back to that week, acknowledged all the pain and, fear and, all of those things that I was coping with that week, and said, okay, so it's over. We made it through it, and now we need to move forward. And my pain was gone by about 50%, literally in like 3 minutes.
Wow.
So I said, okay, well, let's keep going. What did I forget here? And went back and acknowledged the embarrassment and these other things, but also poured into my knee, hey, but we did good. We got there. We accomplished something. This was a goal that we set out to accomplish, and we did it. So now, I'm pouring love into you, and you support me, and I need to support you right now. And anyway, from that moment to this, I have not had pain in my knee.
Wow. Beautiful story. There you go.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful story. I love that.
So let's pick that apart. Okay? So we all go like this, right? Nobody goes like this. If they tell you that, they're lying, right? We all do this, and you have to go down to know what up is, right? You wouldn't have gotten to the state where you could have that conversation with your knee and identify that, there were some things that were going on, and I just didn't realize them. That's all. Just disconnected a little bit. We all disconnect from the emotions. What happens is pain and any kind of experience. I had a brain tumor 8 years ago, so I get it. Right? A lot of denial of the emotions that are going on. Right? It's the emotions are saying, hey, you're kind of down here, you're going the wrong way. And it's like, no, I'm going to put up with that pain in my gut. Okay, a little bit more, and then we start to ache. And all pain is a manifestation. It's the extension of negative emotion over a long period of time.
It's your body speaking to you.
Yeah. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a way for us to have clarity and awareness when we haven't been paying attention to ourselves. And so now you'll do a better job, I guess, in acknowledging that when it comes up in the future, right? When that emotion, you feel that emotion. Because in the body, whatever manifests in the body is always a vibrational match to what's been going on in the brain, right? The pattern is identical. That's why illnesses are very similar in the body that match what we've been thinking. In fact, this is... you guys, we'll only take it just a second because I want to get into the aura in a second. But this book, You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay, we've shown this many times before. Louise documented a variety of conditions and illnesses and the mental state. She was a psychologist for many years, therapist, and that she saw in her patients where they would have the people with this emotional trauma, whatever unique thing it was, would have this exact same illness. Because vibrationally they match. Right? That's what vibration is. And so... go ahead, please.
So when you're faced with the negative emotion, it seems like your emotion is so high around the negative emotion, or whatever your challenge.
Yes.
So powerful, it's so strong. It has, and it's more difficult to have that same level of excitement around, the opposite or the positive.
Yeah, and you can, though. We call that momentum. It's just like a car going down one side of the hill. At the top, there's no momentum, right? If you're going down the negative side at the top, it's not very fast. But then if you don't stop it, it goes faster, and it's harder to stop, and it keeps going. Law of attraction is an amplifier. Every 15 seconds or so, whatever energy you're putting back, you're going to get another thought stream on that same frequency. So if you're in worry about one thing and you don't stop worrying, your emotions are saying, guess what, you're worrying. Hey, hello, you're worrying. But we ignore that so often. But that means then you'll start worrying about something else, and then another 15 seconds, another worry. And eventually the momentum gets so big that it has to manifest in the physical. That's just how it works. And it doesn't stop getting bigger until we break the cycle, that we have to get off the subject. So momentum works on both, any place on this scale. It's just about how long you stay on a given place. So it's okay to go down at the bottom. We all go down here. I certainly do. I mean, regularly. But I don't stay down here now. Right? So the big secret to, if you find yourself down here in the fear and the feeling depressed or powerless, if something triggers you, it's to get angry. And nobody ever wants to hear that part. Right? You don't do it around
by yourself, not with other people.
You don't do it around anybody. You get off by yourself and then express that anger and tears and whatever needs to come up and out of you, and then that's how you get out of it. It's just a practice. You do it over and over again.
I love one question always leads to more comments.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell a little quick story about energy. When I was in college, I came back for Thanksgiving Day break and back to Connecticut where I grew up, and I was all energized, studying and knowing exams are coming up, and I just was stressed. And I went to see one of my sisters, and she's a reader and a healer. She she has spiritual healing powers. And she sat down and said, Anthony, just sit down for a second. I want to just see how you're doing. And she put her hands over my head, just like that. And she said, I can feel electricity. And that's exactly how I felt. It was like my hair was energized. And it was just weird to kind of have someone tell you that. It really was helpful. And then she said the best thing for me always to get away from that is be near water, have pictures of water, go take a break that day and that weekend, but go to a lake and just sit. But that energy was funny. It was really weird when she said it's like static electricity. I said, that's just how it felt.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
If you've never been to an energy healer, it's good to experience it at least once. Find somebody who's really good at manipulating energy, and you'll feel it.
Hi. So I want to share my story. This actually just happened this week, and how I worked my way back up the emotional scale.
Oh, great.
So last Saturday, my daughter was in town visiting, and she'd spent Friday with me and Saturday morning, and it was just wonderful. We're planning her wedding and all this fun stuff, and it was just the two of us, and it's not like over the holidays. Anyways, it was a wonderful time. But then she left mid-afternoon to go to a party at her father's house, who I'm no longer married to, which is a trigger for me. And by Saturday evening, I was just in the crappiest mood, and just all, the negative tape starts playing and all that. And I kind of just pushed it down, because that's an easy thing to do right away, which is not a healthy thing to do, but it's easier to do. And Sunday morning, I woke up and was kind of just hanging out at the house, and I got a call, and it was my daughter's phone number, so I answered it, my other daughter. And it was her boyfriend, and he said, Cheyenne's at the hospital. She tried to commit suicide.
Wow.
And so, of course, we run to the hospital, and she refuses. She's 20, so she refuses to see us. She refuses to let the doctors know what's going on. And it was just, you can imagine. So I'm like below the lowest on the scale there, if that's possible. And we can't get any information about what's going on. So I just kind of went home, and of course I'm worried and trying to figure out what are we going to do, and we decide, okay, we're going to move her back to my house. That's going to be the best thing for her, because she has anxiety attacks, and too much stress sets her off and all this, and so living on her own is obviously not working for her. And they released her from the hospital Tuesday morning, which I was completely flabbergasted, less than 48 hours. And brought her to my house, and she immediately freaked out. Completely irrational, and so we ended up having to call the ambulance to come and get her again. And she refused treatment, and they ended up, leaving. physically she was okay. She hadn't said she was going to hurt herself that day, so they couldn't force her to go back to the hospital. But she did go see her therapist and calmed down, got in a better place. The therapist called me and said, you just need to let her have some space and calm.
What did you do for yourself?
And so here I am low. Then, of course, I moved up to anger. Then I got mad at her. And I was like, this is ridiculous. How can she do, you know? And I started saying to myself, well, that's okay. I'm allowed to be angry, and it's better than where I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Wednesday, I was mad at her all day. But by evening, it started being more kind of acceptance, I guess. This is what's happened.
You moved yourself up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now tonight, I would say I'm actually almost in optimism. And what I did was something I learned through Al-Anon. Is I kept saying to myself, I didn't cause it. I can't control it. I can't change it. The only thing I can control are my emotions.
Yeah.
And I just kept saying it throughout the day, and I'm moving furniture because we're moving her back, and like trying all these things. It's exhausting, but I just kept saying to myself, and little by little, I've worked myself up the emotional scale. From Sunday to Thursday, I'm back up into optimism.
Yeah, good for you. That's a hard thing with a child. Good job. Yes, good job, Lisa.
Really great story. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the work, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no shame in. Yes,
Yeah.
right. And you wouldn't have
Yeah.
helped your daughter down there either.
Because the biggest thing you can do for anyone who, like your daughter, is you keep yourself high as possible with that high, because that will always influence the person who's down. Words don't do it. It's the energy you emit, and they'll feel it, and it will help them bring their energy up, because people want to feel good. They just don't know how when they're that low. So us staying in alignment is the biggest gift you can give, not only yourself, but her. So good job.
So we're going to talk a bit now then about manipulating some energy, right? Being deliberate about the energy. That was a great example of deliberately managing emotions, which is arguably the most important thing, because emotions indicate the energy we're sending out. But it's good if you can get a physical feel. Like I said, we're putting building blocks all in, emotions, physical energy movement, all this stuff, so you can become as empowered as possible. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play a little energy manipulation game. We're going to do, like I said, we're going to talk about the manipulation with our hands and then manipulation of the auric field itself. So I came across this book thanks to our good friend Susan, who's
Yay, Susan.
who was running the table back there. Susan actually has quite a propensity for energy manipulation. She's not trained or anything, but you just come by it so naturally. And if you're ever in her energy field, you can feel it. She's just a very positive individual, and she's learning how to manipulate it with her hands. And
It's true.
Yeah,
You can accept
it
that.
is. Yeah. So this book is, and so Susan recommended this book. It's called The Reconnection by Dr. Eric Pearl, and he was a chiropractor in Beverly Hills. Very successful practice, but just long story short, this is the first half is basically his life story, and it's really, really fascinating. He's a really good writer, and it's very funny too, The Reconnection. And very long story short is that he discovered he was actually healing people without touching them at times, and of things that they didn't come to him for. And he realized that he was running enormous energy through himself because he was such an aligned person. And he had what really turned his practice around and changed the direction entirely was when he had patients where they'd be lying down and he'd be feeling the energy field with his hands, and he got up to their head and he held his hands there. And a Reiki healer will do this if you had Reiki. But he had such a powerful field that he said that he had a patient whose eyes rolled back in their head and they started talking. And they said the same 6 or 7 phrases. They said something about, you're supposed to be on this path, keep doing what you're doing, ignore people who say differently, something like that. It was like this little tome that would come out of this person. It freaked a bunch of them out. It happened 50 times, different people. Like I said, a lot of them never came back to his practice because that was pretty darn weird. But so he got the message, and that became, he realized he had a big, big role to play on this planet, which is to not only be an energy healer, but to teach it And now that's what he does. It's a fascinating book. And so I got an exercise out of this, and there's actually a couple other sources. I've kind of put together something. So we're going to play around with it right now. See if you can feel energy. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. Just kind of get yourself settled in your chair. Probably good to have your feet on the ground so you have a good energy connection with the earth. You can take your hands and just in a kind of a nice, relaxed way, you're going to cup them together like you're holding a little ball or something. Pull them apart just so they don't touch. Okay? Just kind of hold them there. And just kind of relax and breathe into your hands, into your palms. And don't force it, but allow energy to show up in your palms. If you're not forcing it, it'll show up almost right away. Just relax and breathe into your palms. And you'll start to feel a little heat. And it'll move around, maybe in one hand more than the other hand. So no pressure, no force. Don't try to push it at all. Just allow it, observe it showing up. And as you start to feel it, pull your hands apart a little bit. See if it gets bigger with your hands. See if you can find the place where it starts to go away and then come back. And pull your hands apart a little bit more and kind of go up and down, in and out to kind of see if you can feel where the boundaries of it are. And don't worry if you really don't feel much, because this is kind of a new thing to a lot of people, and we get our minds involved, and then we shut down the energy flow. You got to get your mind shut off and just observe it. Whatever's there, just observe the feelings in your hands, right in your palms. So as you pull them apart a little bit more, just feel that energy flowing between your palms. Just kind of feel like you have a golden ball of energy right in your hand there, and manipulate it. Kind of move it around if you can feel it. Said you can't get it wrong. You're just allowing it. And then if you get to the point where you can actually feel that energy, even if it's just a little bit in your palms, now put your hands up to your cheeks. Don't touch, but get about 1/2 of an inch away. See if you can feel the energy right there. You feel that? Get really close, but don't touch. You'll feel it. And then I kind of then move it. I kind of move it by your throat a little bit, and then up by your forehead. Just kind of move it around. See if you can feel that energy moving around. You guys feeling it at all? Try not to touch. Just kind of feel it. Isn't that amazing? Now, you know your body's all at the same temperature, right? Right? So you're feeling energy movement, right? Now, the last thing is to put it by your ears. Just kind of hold it there for a minute and breathe deeply. See if you feel anything in your body. I just did this part the first time 2 days ago, and I felt a total shift in my body. So you can feel the energy now moving all around your body. So you can use this technique. In fact, you can use it throughout your whole body. I discovered I had, when was it? We were in Cancun. Remember I got sick there.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually used this technique because I got sick, and your body shuts down. And I actually used this technique to push the energy back and get my body going again. You can actually, if you're constipated, I hate to say that, but there it is. Yeah, move if you get, or something, whatever you feel, maybe you got indigestion, whatever, use this technique, build up the energy. In fact, you can even rub your hands together a bit to get the energy started if it doesn't start right off the bat, and then feel it and let it build up, and then you can literally heal your body. This is what a Reiki healer does, and you can gently move this through your body. And any place that you have soreness or something like going on, just use this and see what happens. Isn't that wild? You guys feel it?
Yeah, cool.
Did you?
An expert here if you can help us.
Not an expert. I volunteered out at St. John Hospital and would Reiki people, and I never touched them. Never touched them. I was an inch away. I'd be sweating. I did my sister. I would be sweating. They would all say how warm and hot my hands were, and I never touched them. And our instructor, when I went through learning my Reiki, there were 2 of us. I went over her shoulder, and it was ice cold. And I thought, because we didn't say anything, so we Reiki'd her. And she said, did anyone feel anything different? And I said, I felt your right, whatever shoulder was cold. She goes, yeah, that's my bad shoulder. And I could feel things from people that was getting feedback, and I'd be dripping in sweat and never touch them because of doing the Reiki. And just one time, real quick, if you guys are ever in a place where you're cold, I went to see some fireworks one time, and I didn't take a jacket. It got kind of chilly. I just Reiki'd. And so I created the energy to keep me warm because I didn't have a jacket. So you can do that, too, to keep yourself warm.
That's great.
But I've put people to sleep doing Reiki. I'll come up to you can get very good at this just yourself. It's very
Thank
helpful.
you for sharing that. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else?
So I learned Reiki when I was 8, and my
Wow.
mom made me attend a seminar because she was already on level 2, and she's like, this is great stuff, you could use it. And I was so little that I did not know what it is. I just kind of attended the seminar. All I knew was they were giving me the ability to use some power, which felt like magical. I didn't know what it is for. And I could, when I was training for it, I could feel my hands getting warm. So I see that it was working. And after that, after that, I practiced for a little bit, and then I just left doing that for a long time. Now I'm getting back into it, understanding the whole thing behind it. But I remember once I went to my friend's house, and his mom got a bruised ankle. And I'm like, I told them that I know Reiki, maybe that might help. And she's like, okay. And she actually made me stop because it was so hot. She's like, I can't take it. But as you said, sometimes I feel like if I'm sick, if I'm just having a little headache, it's just a little warm, but sometimes I can feel my body taking more energy, like my body taking more energy from my hands. So I've like felt that before on myself since I do it on myself. So that's a difference I had felt. So I just wanted to share it.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Boy,
Anybody
8
else?
years old to learn that. I'd love to have
that.
learned that. So you can see it's a two-way street then. You're not only radiating energy, but as our friend here said, you also can feel the energy. And so if you're going to help somebody else, you can feel the hot and cold. It's a differential, the way I understand it, between what you're feeling in one area of the body versus the other. Because in a balanced body, the energy is flowing smoothly and consistently. It reminded me of a story of, I think they were Tibetan monks, and I never know for sure. Somebody in the Himalayas, a sect of monks who their rite of passage is to spend the night outdoors in their underwear under a wet blanket. Right? And that's what they do. Right? The body can do anything. The body is incredible. It's an incredible machine. We barely tap into it. So just manipulating energy is just one thing. Comment? Question?
So you just reminded me by doing these exercises that long ago I used to suffer from migraines, and I was taught by a Reiki master that I could give the pain a shape and a color. And so thank you for reminding me of this, because I was able to, give it that and then envision it leaving my physical body, and it literally worked, at least to have the pain subside, if not go away. So thank you for reminding me of that, because I've had a headache today.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you.
Isn't it amazing? This is just the coolest stuff. When I found law of attraction, I thought it was pretty darn cool. But then you start getting into this manipulation of energy, and everything is manipulable. Right? Everything is energy. It's this matter. This stuff here that's nothing. It's just energy, waves of energy, and it can all be manipulated. Any questions on that? You guys did great here. You ready for part 2? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play around with the auric field. That's the natural energy field that all living conscious things have around it. It's supposedly the connection to the broader consciousness that we all have, our own higher consciousness. We call it the inner being, which is the 99% of us, which is a non-physical state, but is flowing into us, and it helps. It's what we tap into for guidance and for creativity, that can see places that we can't see because it's a broader dimensional energy, higher dimensional energy. So this auric field is always, it's a part of us, but it changes based on how constrained we are with our thinking or how open we are with it. We had a few people who've seen auras. You can train yourself to do it if you don't look directly at a person or a thing. There was a thing, back in the 70s called Kirlian photography. Has anybody ever heard of that? It's basically where you would take a high voltage image of a photograph of something that was living, like a leaf or something. And there'd be this beautiful electric aura around it. The pictures were really popular in the 70s and kind of died off. But the fascinating thing about this technique was you could take the leaf and you could cut it in half and take a picture of the same leaf, and the whole leaf aura would still be there on the photograph. Because the energy field didn't go away, or only the physical matter went away. That was the first time I ever saw that. It just reminded me of that. So what we're going to do is talk about, what we're going to do is experiment with our own aura. So our auric field naturally extends out a few feet in all directions, over our heads, below our feet, our body. A few feet. It's different for different people, the amount, how far it is naturally, and we're going to play with that in just a second. The thing is that it responds to our vibration, what we're thinking, where we're focused, okay? Based on the emotional scale, like everything is based on this. If the field is too tightly constricted, too close to our body, then we're cutting off our own energy flow. Part of where we get our energy is we ground through the earth. The earth is an enormous energy field. It's where we come from. Everything is energy-based. So grounding is part of what we do in meditation. When you start a meditation, the first thing you should do is you get quiet, centered, you get your feet on the floor, and then imagine the energy flowing through your feet and down into the center of the earth, and picture that connection. And that opens up that energy channel. So that's one of the things we want to do, but if your auric field is pulled in too tight, usually if you're in fear or a negative emotion, then you lose that connection. And so you don't have the benefit of that energy field. On the other hand, if the energy field is too wide, then it overlaps with other people. And you can start picking up other people's energy fields. And that's what empaths often have that problem. People who are empathic pick up other people's vibration, other people's energy, their moods. And that's part of the reason, is because that field is out too wide. Your energy field doesn't have a bound. It can be in the next room. It can be that big. But the problem is you pick up everything in between. Right? So you want to learn to manage this. The people who are introverts, and that tends to be my personality, tend to be pulled in too often. And so you practice pushing it back out to its normal size. If you're too wide open and you get influenced by everything around you, then you learn to pull it back in so that you can manage it. And you'll feel the difference when you start doing this. So now I want you to let's just practice this for a second. So all you got to do is just kind of get quiet in your mind for a second, and you can close your eyes if you want. So what we're going to first do is pull that auric field in. Just imagine that this glowing field, maybe it's white, whatever color feels right to you, and start to pull it in. So it's about an inch or two from your body, all the way around, front, back, top, bottom, just about an inch or two. Feel it pulling in. Pulling in. How does that feel? Is it comfortable? Uncomfortable? Not comfortable. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now relax. Kind of let it flow back out a bit. Just kind of widen it up. Kind of picture yourself in this bubble, which is perfectly shaped to your body. Now extend it out. Extend it out several feet. Picture it extending out maybe 10 feet, all the way around, this huge field all the way around you. See if you pick up anything. See if you can feel anything. You can pick up other energy. Make it go as wide as you want. See if you notice anything. You may not notice anything. You might not be used to this. So now we're going to pull it back in, and you're going to find your natural auric field size. So start to bring it back in and picture it a few feet out and kind of play with it, kind of in and out, maybe 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. See if you can find where it feels the best. And remember, it's all the way around you, your front, your back, over your head, below your feet. Right? Big white bubble or whatever your color is that matches your body shape. See if you can find the distance, a foot or 2 feet. And then once you've found what feels like the right size for you, just remember it, memorize it. Just feel what that feels like to have exactly the right size energy field that feeds you perfectly and supports you perfectly. Keeps you grounded to the earth because it goes below your feet. Sometimes it'll just click into place. And that's your guide, your awareness to know that you're there. You feel that going, boom, I'm right in the right place now. All right, so you guys are still there. You can come back. I love this. I just feel the still energy in the room. So what'd you think of that? Did anybody find an optimal place? Did you find what felt like a good place for you? Yeah. Was it kind of hard? Some of you kind of hard to find it, or was it okay? If you're not used to doing this, it's really weird. Like you never think about your own energy field, right? Or the fact that you can change it. Right? Who taught you this? Nobody teaches us this stuff. But so what you can do now is start using this during the day. Like a couple times a day, 3, 4, maybe once an hour. How's my energy field doing? Am I constrained? Am I pulling it in? Am I shut down here? Right? Well, if you are, you're not grounded. Your energy field isn't even down below your feet. Sometimes it cuts off right about here. There's no energy flow at all through you. Open it back up. Flow it back down. Just find that natural space. And I have this visual in my head of the actual field, like a white light all the way around me, and I go there instantly now. I can just, like, oh, God, that feels so good. I'm now back to the place I want to be. I'm reconnected, and then things start going better again. It's just a different way of looking at kind of the same thing. We're just talking about managing your thoughts so that everything around you, which is all responding, then comes into harmony. Any questions about that? There's one.
Thank you. I'm not sure if it's really an aura-related question, but sometimes when I feel overwhelmed or something, I try to take some time for myself, maybe lay down and focus on my body. I feel like this throbbing, and before I thought it might be my heartbeat, but it's too fast. And also now when we did the exercise, I felt it again. Do you have any idea what that might be?
Can you describe it a little more?
It's just like it's like you would feel your heartbeat throughout your whole body pulsing, but then faster. And sometimes even like it's so strong that my body moves a little bit with it. But it's not that I'm doing it on purpose. It's just like when I calm down and try to release what was worrying me, that comes up.
Well, you very well might be reading energy. You might be pulling in literally consciousness energy. You know, people who channel. You familiar with channeling? It's where you shut down your own mind and you use your subconscious to translate thoughts that come from other places.
Oh yeah, I do that sometimes for my cousin.
Okay, well,
but
there you go.
I don't do that. Like, she knows a lot of things and we just work together. It's not something, I don't do anything. It's just like...
Well, but you are doing something. You're getting in alignment.
Okay.
Right? You're opening up. That's what alignment is. You're opening up your connection. See, because the physical brain is really it's not all that useful.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We rely on it way too much. Right? We use it for logic and reason and remembering the past and predicting the future, none of which really works very well. Or we can shut that thing down and get into the more full body state where the antenna that is all our body is open, and then now the consciousness, which is everywhere at once because it's higher dimensional, so it has the view of everything, omnipresent, can then start communicating to us. I would go deeper into that. You'll probably start to receive some sort of communication.
Yeah, that happens. I didn't, it's just the feeling that I thought, I'm feeling this. It's not that I'm scared when I feel it, but it's more like what is that? Because I couldn't place it. It's like, okay.
Well, what you can do is put the question out.
Yeah.
Just ask the question, what is this I'm feeling?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
And then
Good
just let
idea.
go of the answer, let go of the need for an answer. And at some point, something will show up and give you the answer. And I'd be really curious to know what it is.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
Two things. When I go into meditation and I get deep, I do what they call quickening, where your body vibrates, floats, and a floating sensation. I sort of had a question. I ran across this Dr. Delbert Blair, and he's a pastor and a metaphysicist. So he talks about an element substance called monotonic gold. Are you familiar with that? Or ormus?
Haven't heard that.
And it kind of helps you, brings up your frequency when you're meditating.
Okay. There are, and the neat thing is that there's all sorts of stuff out there that can be helpful, right? There's nothing wrong with using people. Some people use crystals because they have a very strong vibrational frequency on their own. You can use essential oils. There'll be things that you'll find to experiment. Keep your eyes open and your feelings open for things, and you'll start attracting different things, and they'll help you amplify your own vibration. So anything you can use to get into this state of openness and resonance is a good thing.
Do you remember the name of the two ladies that were from Europe that I got the book and I read it and I forgot Soul something or other. But one of the things I just wanted to share with you was this is where we first became really aware that you could control your auric field. And this whole book is about how you can realize you have this ability. And one was, she said, I was reading that to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and get into your meditative state and feel your heartbeat. This is what made me remember. You're feeling it in your whole body. They were even saying, feel it in different places in your body, and yet you're having the whole connection. So that's pretty cool. It's just one of the ways that your auric, you're in touch with, the truth of you. You're in alignment. So, yay. Yeah. And if I think of the name of it, we'll share it another time.
The book was The Spiritual Password.
Oh, The Spiritual Password. It's not in a book form. You can get it as an ebook on Kindle. Yeah. And it's written by two women. One's an empath, and the other one also has abilities. And they came together and just knew they wanted to share this information about energy and how you can help benefit yourself.
You guys are on a great journey. There's such cool stuff, right? I mean, we're just scratching the surface of what's available, and our species is on the precipice of a fairly major evolution right now. That's why there's so much turmoil, because the people who are still stuck in the third dimensional way of control and manipulation are hanging on to that because it's scary, right? That's the only reason we try to control something is out of fear. Right? There's no other reason than that, because once you learn, as you guys all did here in the room, to trust this energy flow, you realize you have infinite guidance and you have infinite support, and you're creating your own reality. You're creating your own reality. So there's nothing to be afraid of. But the turmoil comes when people cling to the old beliefs and the world continues to expand. Right? It's just the gap gets wider. Right? And eventually, that's why we don't live forever. Because we all get stuck in the beliefs, and it's like I had this great visual come to me a few days ago. It's sort of like a boat on a river that's moving faster and faster. It drops anchors, right? And those are beliefs, right? And they supported us when we were younger, but they become anchors when we get older. Right? If we don't adapt and let go of the beliefs that don't serve us, then eventually the boat can't keep up with the current, and it has to go under. Right? That's just kind of the nature of physicality. But so what? We're consciousness beings first and foremost. The body's just a transport mechanism. You've been here before and you'll be here again. All that matters is that you enjoy the ride and have the best time, because that's how you're contributing the most to the universe, is by being the most of you, by being up here, being aligned, because when you're aligned, everything happens. Right? Your passion comes through, your purpose comes through, you express who you are to the world, you feel great, your health goes up, you have great relationships, you attract money, and you're a benefit to the world. That's the purpose of life, in my opinion. Yes, Leonard.
the statement. I shared this comment with the statement you just made, because that's my idea of handling just about any problem, is to remind myself that I'm a spiritual being. And when I do that, all that lower conscious state of being where we're not supposed to be falls to the wayside. If there's major problems or what is perceived as a major problem, it becomes a minor problem.
New perspective.
Yes, it's the
Brilliant.
new way of looking at it.
And can I take that the next step? Because that was a great lead-in. Yes, and there really isn't anything wrong with being down here. Okay? It's not fun, right? But the reason that we need this as part of the journey is because that's how you get clarity as to what you do want, right? You're either creating desires or you're manifesting them, right? Up here you're manifesting, down here you're creating. Both are required for the creation process, right? It's like black and white. You couldn't see white or know white unless you had black, right? You need contrast. You need the differential between those two.
And you know what I loved about Toya, is that how you say it? Your story about the knee was what you realized, what you wanted to do, and acknowledged it to yourself. Okay, this was a week of hell, blah, blah, blah. You just embraced it, accepted it, and then you could begin to release it. And you started talking to yourself, well, you know, and let's get together here, knee, or whatever what all you said. But, you know, this is the way you can begin to change your energy and bring yourself up by just embracing. It's okay. We were just excellent way to talk about that, Kevin. I mean, we need the contrast because it does provide us a clarifying moment. Anytime I have something that I know I don't like the feeling of, another clarifying moment. And then I get back right into it. What was I thinking? How was I feeling? And then I've learned to talk to myself, and I'm not even crazy, and gently lift myself up the scale so that my vibration comes up and the rest of the day will be good instead of getting wound up in the momentum and keeping on bringing more stuff I don't want.
So it's been pretty deep here. Yes, Faith.
One thing that I'm picking up and learning is that it doesn't seem to matter where we get these lessons, like law of attraction by listening to the Abraham Hicks tapes, right? Coming to this, you know, going to a 12-step program and, you know, using, you know, anything that we can from there, or going to a certain spiritual community and picking up, you know, sayings that really work for you. It's amazing how many truths are out there, but that they're just labeled differently or they're said differently, you know? And when you were talking, it reminded me of let go and let God, you know? And I realized that often when I'm upset over something or, you know, in turmoil or worried, that if I just let it go, or I ask the question, how important is this? You know, it doesn't matter what you use from what program, what group, right? If it's stayed with you or it's resonated in your heart as that's wise or that's the truth or I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, you know, like Unity says, it doesn't matter where it's from.
Not at all.
Right?
Not
You're
at all.
saying whatever works, whether it's crystals, a saying, you know, Reiki, use it just so that you can get up there.
Yeah, and everything
and
else then
feel
works.
better.
Yeah, if it feels good, it is good. That's the rule. There's nothing more profound or simple than that. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a bridge for everyone. And we're all different, unique, are drawn to certain things that will help us feel better. That's why it's beautiful, like a puzzle piece. We all have different talents and gifts to share with each other. And, you know, we'll track those that are wanting that experience. That's how law of attraction works. And so, you know, there's all different kinds of ways to bring relief.
And
that's why that relief goes up the
That's
side
why
of that.
it's really important not to judge anybody else's methods too, right? That's a very good point. It's easy to say, well, this is the method. Here, everybody go out and get this emotional scale, right? And then you all be in the religion of Kevin here, right? Right? No, this is just trying to scientifically describe the mechanism, but you apply it however you apply it. There is no, believe it or not, there's no right or wrong, good or bad anywhere in the universe. It's all human judgments, right? Even the worst things that are going on the planet are individual experiences for the purposes of that individual growing. They may not know it in the moment, but they're creating it for themselves. And if you're participating in it, you're creating it for yourself with them, right? So this is taking this ownership here back so that you can start to vibrate at higher and higher levels, and all those negative people will go away because they cannot be in your space if they're not on your frequency. So you manage everybody who's in your life right now. Wherever you are is where they're going to be. So people that you're rendezvousing with down here, this is one of the coolest things about law of attraction. People ask about relationships all the time. We coach a lot of people on relationships. Doesn't matter what they're doing, what the other person is doing. All that matters is where are you? And you're going to rendezvous with them wherever you are, and they'll be at the same place. So if you want that angry person to go out of your life, stop being angry. Right? And what's amazing is when you start doing this work and let everybody else have their feelings and everybody else do their thing, even if they're yelling at you and blaming you and whatever else, over time, as you get a handle on your vibration, one of two things happens. They either come up with you because they have to, or they go away. Right? There's no other way. It's law-based. This is a universal law. So all you got to do is manage your own vibration, and then everybody in your life will come up and match. Right? Isn't that cool? You got all that power. And we're going to start wrapping up here. Any last questions before we go down the wrap-up path?
I'm ready to jog. Go ahead.
It's been a very more subdued than usual, but that's because we pulled the energy down.
Taking it all in.
Nice, quiet, absorptive energy here. So what do we learn today then? Well, we learned that managing our energy field gives us control over healing ourselves and helping others, controlling the energy that we actually pick up from others. You're going to be more obviously connected about that. And that we're managing the energy that we're radiating out into the world because it's the same energy. Remember, you're the valve of that energy. What else have you learned? Anything, like one or two comments on what you learned today that you didn't know before you came in here? Or did I put you all asleep?
Or anything you're going to do differently, like one thing you're going to do differently as you start your next day?
I'm trying to figure out all this energy right now because Monday I went on I was at a meditation group. Oneness, I haven't experienced that before. Well, it's the second week. Oneness meditation. It's a little faster breathing, it's yogic philosophy. But at the end of that meeting, it was an energy, a particular form of energy this person was demonstrating, and I felt that same energy with the hand movement.
Oh, wow.
However, this was on the crown chakra, and I could feel that after the meditation, probably about 20 minutes of meditation, it was a radiant heat. It was almost pulsating.
Wow.
And I said, interesting. It was almost like you described. It was, but not in the heart. It was coming from my crown chakra area.
Excellent.
Which I think she was standing, she said, about a foot from my forehead. My top of my head.
Nice. So now you've created it on your own.
Well, I got to figure it out what all this about.
Yeah, nice job.
Hey, thanks.
All right, one more, and then we'll wrap up here.
I've just started taking pranic healing courses, and I had a question about the same thing. After meditating, I had this heavy feeling top of my head, and they told me that you have to move the energy. So you literally physically move it down your body, that it's energy gathering. You have to move it down your body.
Wow. Yeah, so physically, right, move it.
Yeah.
Great idea. All right, so you guys going to go home and start practicing some energy manipulation?
One
Terry,
more little
quick comment?
Okay.
I just thought of one thing, because I'm around a lot of essential oils and the vibe that we have that I'll never forget. Somebody said, let me try shifting your energy for you. And they put some essential oils on and then moved the energy, completely in the whole circumference. And I walked out of that vortex basically with a whole new energy. And I didn't do anything. But it was...
Well, you did. You showed up.
Well, no, I showed up, but the frequency.
Yeah.
The frequency is so powerful that whatever frequency you put yourself around, you show up for. but it was,
Yes.
I literally felt it, like they moved completely around me with this, with the essential oils, and it had nothing to do with, I mean, it might have had something to do with the aroma, but I wasn't really wanting to believe in it. I just felt,
But you were
worked.
open, right? You had to have been open.
You know what, whether I was or wasn't, it worked, you know?
Good for you. Okay.
One last
Well, and yeah, you got a guy in the back there too.
So all of this is just making me think, and you talked a lot about beliefs. At the end of the day, there are so few facts that exist. F-A-C-T-S. There are so few facts.
And maybe
almost
none.
everything, maybe none, almost everything that we get excited about or get emotional about are based on beliefs. And so it makes me think about this whole political process we've just been through and everything, and all of the energy that's behind that is based on beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that we're all here today is the very best thing that we can be doing for the world, is raising our own vibration,
Yeah.
learning how to do that, and we need to bring more people here to teach them how to do the same, because when we can get everybody to that love energy and living there most of the time, then everything gets fixed.
We're heading that
Everything.
way, and let's be sure we don't need them to be there, for us to be there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they'll come. When they see what we're doing, they'll come. Right? That's why this group, I had one quick comment back there.
Okay.
That's why this group went from 611 people 3 years ago to almost 1,500. Right? We didn't advertise it. Right? Law of Attraction's bringing you guys here. You all found it somehow. Quickly?
Yes. One thing I wanted to say is, as I was sitting here, I kept hearing in my spirit, contrast provides the perfect environment for the formation of personal preferences.
Ooh.
And I'm writing something now called The Courage to Change, Restoring Your Spiritual Health. And it's the journey that people are going to move on to heal from all the disinformation that has caused them to not know what to believe in, which is themselves and spiritual alignment. And that's what's elusive to most people.
Yeah, and yet you're here
That's going
demonstrating
to be a
it.
great book.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Perfect.
Lovely.
Perfect synopsis.
So many people. Now we got all kinds. Did you want to say one last thing?
Well, what I was going to say is that I'm in Western medicine. Not that I'm a doctor, but I see it. But you know what? I believe in every kind of treatment. We're myopic. We look at one slice of the pie instead of looking at the whole pie. So Reiki, meditation, yoga, acupuncture, aromatherapy, surgery, manipulation of bones. If I were sick, I would use everything that is available in this world, because Western medicine is limiting. Think about it in this, is that what we were taught is limiting. If we say there's so much out there we don't know, I say that all the time. When I was a kid, we learned we only use 10% of our brain. 50 years later, why are we only using 10% of our brain? I should be using 50% of my brain 50 years later.
You're doing fine as this eternal spiritual being.
Exactly.
You're on a
So
great path.
it's just, this whole thing is expansion. Jump on and let's go for the ride.
Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we got to wrap up. It's 8 o'clock here, guys. So one of the things we want to remind everybody is that this is esoteric stuff, okay? So it takes a little faith at first, right? That, yes, there's a law of attraction, there's an emotional scale, yes, there's energy fields, right? And figure it out, research it on your own, right? Play around with it, figure it out. So have faith that you are supported by an incredible universe and everything's supposed to work out for you. It's by design, it's supposed to work out for you. If it's not, it's okay. You're learning, right? So you can't get it wrong. Have a little, practice a little bit every day. We recommend at least 21 days. Just pick one of these things and try it. See what happens, right? And if it's not the right thing, do something else. And then have patience with yourself, because you can't get it wrong because it's never done, because you're eternal, right? You're always steering the ship, right? It doesn't matter how far off course you get. You got a do-over the next day and the next day. So be nice to yourself and see where you can take this. So remember, there's open networking right after the meeting. Talk to each other, have fun. We'll kick you out when we want to go home. The audio recording will be up on YouTube a few days or week, I'll send out an email, let you guys know. Next meetup is on the 16th of March, and we should have some really good stories from the Caribbean to tell
Come back
you.
on the 13th. We'll be all revved up.
We'll be talking about how to tap into your non-physical consciousness. So we'll get into that aspect of consciousness. And then we decided to have a spring party and potluck at our house like we did. We had a winter party around the holidays on the 25th, and I don't know if it's up on the website yet, but I'll get it up there on meetup.com. So if you
It's a
guys
Saturday.
it's a Saturday. You guys want to bring some food and drop by the house, we'd love to have you. Just be sure to RSVP up on the website. All right, guys, go forth and manipulate your energy. Have a great month. Thanks for coming out.